I mentioned that I wanted to do a part 2 because I feel like we were kind of all over the place. Not all over the place, completely all over the place, but not in the direction that I wanted to go. So we're going to do a part 2 on the 5 buckets of growth. Part 2.
One of my clients, I have her doing an exercise that I think is actually really good for her. And I leave it to everyone else to decide whether or not it'd be good for you. I said, have you ever looked around when you're out in public and asked yourself, is there anyone here I would actually want to trade places with? Depending on who I've done this with, that's actually been really good for their self-worth. Because I think sometimes we think other people's lives are better than ours, when in reality, when we actually do that, it's like, you know what? I really do love myself, and I really do love my life. I think it's good perspective.
Next Level Nation today for episode number 2132. As we mentioned in the previous episode and in the opening there, the 5 buckets of growth part 2. I'm going to just get right into it.
The digital asset is in the show notes, by the way.
Yes, strong work on that. Strong work on that. I saw that. I saw that come through.
It's a good asset. I'm looking at it.
It's a good looking asset. It is. It is. It's a great looking asset. What is the number one thing you think about the 5 buckets of growth that you did not think of 5 years ago? New perspective, new whatever it is.
I don't think I knew how much I was going to have to get rid of the first couple. I told myself a story that I wouldn't have to leave anyone behind. I really was naive. I really thought that we were all going to achieve our goals and dreams together. And that was just alarmingly untrue.
Was it worth it?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, hindsight's 2020. I've been doing Facebook Memories of the Day a lot on Facebook and Instagram. And it's very clear. I mean, here's the deal. Kev, you and I are less successful than I had hoped.
Yes.
And we're
you
still
remind me of that often.
and I feel like I've sacrificed a lot in terms of time and effort and relationships and quality time. My social life, basically, as I mentioned in the last episode, my social life is wildly less than it ever was in the past. Because when I was in college or corporate, I had a lot of friends. Brought my high school friends to college friends to corporate. I've said that before. So what I didn't understand is how few people were going to keep climbing the mountain. And I don't want this to sound mean or negative, but it is very, very true. Like, some people really just didn't want to climb, and they just aren't, they're kind of done climbing. I was on with a client yesterday. I said, when do you want to quote unquote retire? And by retire, I mean, you're going to keep growing, but you're not going to increase the percentage anymore. You're not going to try to keep the growth rate. And there's something called the logistic curve that basically it's exponential and then it shifts to sort of a coast mode. And at 50, I said, how long do you want to live? What do you want to go for? Obviously, no one can decide, but you can shoot for it. The average life expectancy is around 80, depending on what country you're in. And he said 100. I said, awesome. Okay, so at 50, you want to stop climbing. You're still going to climb, but you're going to stop really pushing it. You're not going to go for any more PRs. It's a good metaphor. Mm-mm. You're going to still bench press, but you're not going to try to push it and really try to increase the weight. He said, yeah. I think that the biggest blind spot I had is that I don't ever want to stop. Ever. And he laughed. He's like, what about you? Brother, never. Like, I'm never going to stop pushing as hard as and as much as I can. I'm here to see what I am capable of, and that's never going to end. And I love business because it's like golf. You can play this shit forever.
Yeah.
And that's what I didn't understand is when I was a kid, everybody talked about goals and dreams, and they all had these big dreams and these big aspirations, and they had big goals. And that has really been very sad for me to see how few people really achieved them.
I see. It's so interesting because the ones that were obvious to me weren't to you, and the ones that were obvious to you weren't to me. It's like that was the lesson I needed. That doesn't surprise me. Like that part.
Well, what if around you they didn't talk about their goals and dreams that much? People do treat you differently than they treat me.
For sure.
I always talk about goals and dreams, so of course I feel like everyone probably talks more about their goals and dreams with me than they do with other people.
Yeah.
And so I just lived in this echo chamber of everyone has big goals and dreams, when in reality, maybe that's a percentage of them. It's not all of them. Whereas for me, it's like a larger percentage of me.
Yeah. And I look at people's actions. It's like, I don't really care what you say. Cool. Talk is so easy,
But brother, people's actions around you change based on who you are. I mean, you.
I'm
back
looking
in the
at
day,
I'm
said you
looking at
wanted-
actions when they're not around me.
Okay, yeah, I didn't look enough at that.
That I'm always like, people
How
say,
do you-
"Oh, good,
But what do you mean? Give me an example. Because back in the day, you said you wanted to be Joe Rogan,
yes."
and I was like, okay, perfect. Let's fucking do it. And every time you were around me, you grinded every time. But
Well, I
I
was
never
grinding.
saw you when you weren't around me. I bet you it was way less than I thought.
I'm
Because when
willing
you're
to.
with me, you're always working.
I'm willing to bet it's definitely less than you thought, but more than almost anybody else you knew.
Well, all I'm seeing is, it's called the observer effect. If you study a zebra and the zebra knows you're watching, it'll be different. So you don't actually know what a zebra is really like. It's a stupid fucking metaphor. But ultimately, people think, I know, people think that what people say to you versus what they think versus who they are when no one's watching, there's a big gap there.
For sure.
These are the layers of the BS. And
But I start from the outside in of like, what are the results that you have, and then how do you show up, and then everything else you tell me is like, I don't know, I don't believe it.
But I didn't have certain results either.
But you're the anomaly in that.
But I didn't know that.
I know.
Right. And that's very obvious now. So that's what I've learned. And that's how I view the 5 buckets differently is, I mean, I had a dozen coaches and mentors when I was in my early 20s. I've been doing this thing called the Next Level Wealth Builder with people, and it's been awesome. And basically what you do is you go back to when you first had your first job, and the first column is age, and then it's the year, and then what was your job, what was your role, how much did you make, what was your nest egg, and what were your debts. And going back is fascinating. It's you guys really didn't think that much about your career, because my whole life I was always focused on building a resume and climbing the metaphorical mountain. And that's just what's weird about me. It's like I remember you said one time, my association is back to the buckets. I don't even know if I've even met an engineer. There's some people that listen to this show that are like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm around Christina. She knows a bunch of engineers. She's like, well, all my friends were nerds. Same. You know, I've known engineers my whole life. But for you probably hung out with athletes all the time. And everyone was super athletic and everyone lifted weights. And it's the law of attraction, right? Sure. Just like I knew a bunch of gamers. So the law of attraction messes up your head. It messes up your brain, because whatever you're really passionate about, like I played a lot of basketball. You didn't like basketball, so you and I didn't connect. But everyone in the town that we grew up in that loved basketball, I kind of knew them. I hung out with them. I saw them. And there's a bunch of people I could name. I won't, but passions create the opportunity for relationships. Like all of your friends in high school, they played baseball.
Interestingly, not really.
They lifted weights?
No, I just had a circle.
What was the common thread? There was something in common.
Said probably similar sense of humor.
You all liked cars. 3 of you played baseball.
Most of us liked cars. No, that was like my later crew. My earlier crew wasn't. Most of them didn't play sports. I don't know. I just probably didn't feel like I fit in with anyone, so I just hung out with other people who didn't feel like they fit in either.
Okay.
I think that was probably a piece of it. We all felt like we didn't fit in. I didn't really like if you were on the baseball team and you're listening to this, sorry, not sorry. I didn't like a lot of people on the baseball team. A lot of people were arrogant. I didn't want to do that. I didn't like hanging out with those types of people. Like there's some of them were just super toxic. I didn't enjoy spending time with those types of people. So that was an interesting thing. I don't know.
NLU listener, what is happening? I just wanted to jump in here and let you know, if you want to get to the next level faster, we have a free virtual monthly meetup at the first Thursday of every month. You can connect with like-minded people and become a bigger part of this amazing global community. The link to register will be in the show notes. So my biggest blind spot was not realizing how few people are going to go from the nostalgia to the maintenance, from the maintenance to the mentee to the growth, and the growth to the wisdom. One thing that's been alarming for me is how few people are willing to be a mentee. That is, I mean, the reason why one of the big reasons I've gotten to where I am is because I was always the mentee. I was a student in every room. And I listened to an episode earlier today with Tori Leto from way back. It was episode 178. We were in her office live, and live meaning like traveled there to her office. And I mean, we were so mentee. I mean, of course, we learned a ton about relationships
for sure
from her. Now, in hindsight, it's very clear that you and I were not holding our status or our ground in terms of our value. We were very much fanboying too much, in my opinion. But we got poured into a lot. We learned a shitload. We used to take notes on every episode. Yep. We used to assume people knew way more than they did. But it worked because we learned so fucking much.
So that my lesson is on the opposite end of, one, I didn't realize how hard it was to get mentors because most of the mentors we got were a byproduct of you, not me. Mm-hmm. And then two, I didn't realize how hard it was to find aligned mentors. Yeah. I didn't realize how it is a constant dance of people give you ideas of what has helped them, and a lot of them are just either not in alignment or they're not how you want to do it. And it's like, it's really hard to keep a mentor if you don't appease.
Yeah.
It's really hard to keep, for somebody to keep pouring into you unless you appease what they believe. There's a reason we don't really have mentors like we used to. There's a reason.
Well,
because
I think in some ways we've outgrown them.
Well, I think that's a piece, but I think it's also, one, honestly, I'd rather just do this, you and I and the team and, you know, the clients and do it that way. It's almost like most of the mentors are trying to help you make it easier. But a lot of times it's easier in misaligned ways.
You know, one of the reasons why we don't have mentors more than we used to is because I actually believe we're trying to do something that they've never done. That's very clear to me. Our goals are very different than what their goals ever were. I had a client, you've worked with this person too. Her name's Yvette, and she's awesome, awesome person. And when she came to me, she said, well, I'm already doing $250,000 a year. I want to work a couple days a week. And she's way further in her life. She's in her probably late 40s, mid 40s. And I started having her really climb the fucking mountain. Like, let's go. I mean, you're doing $250,000 without even trying. Can we let's do more. You can help more people. What are we doing here, right? And Yvette, if you're listening, love you. Big fan. But what the fuck are we doing here? Like, you can do so much more. You're barely scratching the surface of your true potential. I mean, seriously. And to me, you're putting in 20% effort. You could but again, she doesn't care. So she eventually said, listen, I had her tracking, she was killing it. And eventually she's like, Alan, I don't want to deal with any of this shit. Like, I'm going to go elsewhere. I said, all right, it's all good. But in my head, either she just doesn't care and $250,000's fine for her, but I don't know if she really knows. And Yvette, if you were listening, you could message me. Seriously. I don't know if she knows how much her life would be completely different at $1 million a year, or at $2 million a year, or $4 million a year. Like, dude, it's exponential what you can do in the world with more.
But you also
impact.
have to work exponentially harder.
Not for her. She could 2x her effort and go to 40% and 10x her results. If she wanted to, because her reputation, she has, her PhD, she's already earned the stripes. She's already a black belt in people's eyes. So it gets real easy later on. And to me, she's just not putting much on the court. But I also realize she's done climbing. She doesn't want to climb anymore. She wants to coast into, retirement or whatever. And again, she's still pretty hardworking, all things considered. So Yvette, don't take this the wrong way. At the end of the day, though, that's one thing that's been fascinating for me. It's like, why would you want to stop? This is the fucking best.
Yeah.
Like, you guys could, you could. But here's what it comes down to, last piece. She's not trying to change the world. She's not trying to go down in history as someone who pushed human progress forward. And so our mentors are not, we outgrew them quickly because we had to. We are trying to do something that's never been done.
Well, I think the other thing too that's hard about mentors is the way the relationship starts is usually the way the relationship stays. So if somebody comes into your life as they know more about you, more than you about all the things that you need to know, it's very hard to ever turn that into like a mutually beneficial relationship, I guess.
I think Michael Burt had that moment when I interviewed him this time, because he was a mentor to us kind of 5 years ago, and we interviewed him twice on the Hyperconscious podcast. Huge fan. I listen to his content. He's very motivating. But when I interviewed him, I could tell there was a part of him that was, oh, you're not at all the same that you were 5 years ago. We're definitely more peers now. And again, he's more successful. But consciousness wise, it was different, very different. And Anthony Trucks, we interviewed years ago, and I had him on book club. And one of the book club members just said, Alan, it was so weird for you to know more about his book than he does. And I don't know more about his book. I know more about identity than he does. But I've also done 10,911 coaching sessions, trainings, and podcasts, and at least 6,000 of those since the last time him and I talked, right? So it is weird when you outgrow mentors. And I'm, again, Anthony Trucks, Michael Burt, big fan. You guys are killing it. It's not about that. Like, you guys are very successful and more successful than me in certain things. However, when I'm their age at our current trajectory, it's not like there's as much they have to teach me as they did originally, right? And the apprentice eventually has to become the master. I mean, that's part of it. And especially if you have bigger goals and they're on the tail end of their sort of grinding.
Yeah, it's interesting. We're on opposite ends. Yours is leaving people behind. Mine is there's certain people that I would dream of having the opportunity to talk to that I don't really want to talk to anymore. Because the value isn't it's just different than I thought. All of it is. It's
not opposite. That's the same, right? Don't you feel like there's some mentors you've outgrown?
Yeah, but I mean, your beginning point of leaving people behind, you thought everybody was going to come with you. I thought
they'd keep growing at the same rate. Yeah. That was very ignorant. Yeah.
I thought eventually the mentors that we had, it would be like, oh, they're going to be our mentors forever. I never thought we would say no to certain mentors. I never thought that was going to happen.
Like David Meltzer or whoever.
Anybody. I never thought that was going to be a thing. That's like the weirdest thing for me, as somebody who didn't think I was going to be successful.
Yeah, you went from let's go to Philadelphia to see David Meltzer speak to him mentoring us to eventually, I don't even know if we want. Like, we're good, thank you so much.
Yeah, we want to go in our own direction and kind of do our own thing. It's weird. And I could understand how if you're listening to that, maybe it sounds entitled. It's like, well, I understand completely.
Yeah.
I can completely understand. But again, there's core values, there's core beliefs, there's core aspirations, there's alignment. There's a lot that goes into it besides somebody can give you the answers to the test. Like, there's certain answers to the test that I don't want. There's certain things I have to learn myself. So it's been an interesting journey. All right, quickly, next level lesson.
Yeah, next level lesson is having relationships, in my opinion, are the hardest part of success. If you ask any successful person who is climbing in a specific industry in their career or trying to change the world in their own unique way, they will tell you that the greatest pain in their life always comes down to their social life. And I think that people without goals most likely have a great social life, and they probably fit in the center of the bell curve, and they probably don't get attacked very often. And that's just the way it works. So it's not a you problem. It's the way it works.
My lesson would be, goodness. I think everybody wants to be in a place where they're the guide or they're the person that has the mentees. And that's amazing and exhausting at the same time. And again, I wouldn't say I'm a guide. Well, I probably in podcasting, right? Like, am I 20 years ahead? No, but we've done this a long time and we've done it to a very deep degree. It's exhausting in the best way. Mm-hmm. That would be my next level lesson. So if that's what you're aiming for, it will be different than you expected. It will be harder maybe than you expected, but it'll also be more rewarding than you expected. I can say that. All right.
Digital asset will be in the show notes. Check in with each one of these buckets. And if you don't have enough in the growth and the wisdom bucket, you are in some trouble. So just be aware of that.
Fair. All right. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And NLU, we do not have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Keep it next level. Next Level Nation.